Here is a demonstration of how we can make requests using the Swagger UI of our application. We do this by typing /user at the end of this URL. Here, we have many routes to perform operations like getting users, inserting users, updating them, and more, including deleting. Let's demonstrate the get route, for example. We'll perform a get request to fetch all users from our table, and the response shows all the formatted and organized data in JSON. This would be our users from our mini Twitter running database. And here, you can also apply some filters. For example, if I wanted the response to only show the username, I'd put username in the select filter, and it returns a response with only this parameter. And other things, for example, I want to sort the usernames. If I fill the order by filter with username, it will show the users with the usernames in alphabetical order. Other options include limiting the number of objects. For example, I only want to see the first 2 users in alphabetical order. I set the number 2 on the limit filter and it will display these 2. We also have pagination, for instance. Imagine this as our first page with 2 elements. If I want to see the next 2 elements, I set the number 2 on the page filter, and it shows the next 2. Last example, we can also filter to only retrieve a specific user. For example, if I only want the user with a certain ID, I get that from the response and set it in the id user filter. That way, I'll be executing a query only for the user with that ID, and it returns the user 3. These are some of the main functionalities of the get route. Continuing, let's move to our post method of user, which allows us to insert a new user into the user table. Here, opening the context of this table, we click on the Try It Out button to edit the body of our request. The body here is a perfect example of the data we can insert into this table in the database. We have the id user, username, and the date they joined here. In our case, we can even omit the ID user since the API has auto-increment, and the database is configured accordingly. It will auto-generate a char36 string as per our database column type. For the username, we can use developer user, and for the date joined, we put the date in this format. For example, the accepted standards are the year, then the month, then the day, and the current time. Now, just click Execute, and you'll get a message of the object being persisted successfully. We can test it here on the get method to see if the user was indeed added. Here, we see that our developer user has been successfully added to the database.